Welcome to Grade 8 Second Quarter, A Journey to Earth Science. Isang pagbati sa iyong mag-aaral ng Baitang 8. Ang video na ito ay ginawa upang tulungan kang maunawaan ang iyong mga aralin sa agham o science. Maaaring nahihirapan ka dahil sa tinatawag na modular distance learning. Kaya naman, upang mas madali mong maunawaan ang ating aralin, ang medium sa pagtuturo na aking gagamitin ay pinaghalong English at Tagalog. Let's have a side teaching with me. I am Teacher M. Just so you know, this video lesson is based on PHBOT 4A Learner's Material Quarter 2 First Edition 2020, published by the Department of Education, Region 4A Calabarzon. Pero bago ang lahat, ihanda muna ang iyong mga distance learning starter kit. Narito ang iyong dapat matutunan para sa Week 2 and 3. Most Essential Learning Competency. Differentiate the epicenter of an earthquake from its focus, intensity of an earthquake from its magnitude, active and inactive faults. For Week 2 and 3, here are your learning tasks. Learning task number 1, reading an article. Learning task number 2, matching type. Learning task number 3, multiple choice. Learning task number 4, enumeration. Upang mas maunawaan mo ang ating aralin ngayon, here are the words that you need to define and remember. Try to answer the pre-test. Don't forget the terms and their definitions. Without further ado, let's start the discussion. Earthquakes are destructive to human lives. Sumasang-ayon ka ba sa linyang ito? Kung inyong matatandaan, nagbigay na kayo ng inyong pananaw sa linyang ito nung unang linggo ng ating aralin. At dahil sa inyong mga kasagutan, mababatid natin na hindi nga biro ang pinsalang maaaring maidulot ng isang lindol, lalo na kung ito ay malakas. No one can stop earthquake from happening, but there are things that people can do to avoid or reduce the effects of an earthquake. So we need to have a clear understanding of the occurrence of earthquakes. So for our Week 2 and 3, our topic is all about the quake starts. Mapaminsala ang isang lindol, hindi natin alam kung kailan ito mangyayari. Kaya naman, mahalaga na may alam ka tungkol dito. Nung nakaraang aralin, nalaman natin na ang sanhi ng paglindol ay ang paggalaw ng tectonic plates na dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na fault. Pero alam mo ba kung saan mismo nagsisimula ang paglindol? Let's watch this.
Whenever those plates hit, bump, or slide past another plate, an earthquake is caused. The surface where these plates slip is called the fault or the fault plane. So, when do you think it happens? Well, it happens all the time. But hey, don't be scared. Most of the times, we don't feel the quakes as they are too small to reach us. But sometimes they are so strong that they can be felt over 1,000 miles away. The place where the earthquake originates is called the hypocenter, and the place where it occurs on the Earth's surface is called the epicenter.
Dahil sa video na napanood mo, nalaman mo na nagsisimula ang lindol sa tinatawag na hypocenter or focus. Breaking of the rocks will start at the point where the rocks are weakest. This is called the focus or hypocenter. This is the spot where the first break occurs. Focus is the origin or the center of the earthquake. It is located underground. Epicenter is the point at the surface of the earth which is directly above the focus of an earthquake. It is where the earthquake vibrations reach first. The most violent shaking occurs here. Ang epicenter naman ay ang bahagi ng ating mundo na nasa ibabaw ng focus. Dito mararamdaman ang pinakamalakas na pagyanig. Paano ba natin malalaman kung gaano kalakas ang isang lindol? Earthquake can be described into ways, intensity, and magnitude. Dahil nga ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga bansang madalas makaranas ng paglindol, madalas tayo nakakarinig ng mga balita tungkol dito. At maaaring narinig mo na ang salitang magnitude at intensity. Familiar ba kayo sa tinatawag na PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale at sa Richter's Magnitude Scale? Masasabi mo ba ang kanilang pinagkaiba? Try to learn the difference between intensity and magnitude by watching this video. May dalawang uri ng paglindol, ang tinatawag na tectonic earthquake na sanhi ng paggalaw ng tectonic plates at ang volcanic earthquake na dulot ng pagsabog ng isang bulkan. Nagmumula ang paglindol sa focus o hypocenter at dahil sa paggalaw ng mga tectonic plates, naglalabas ito ng malakas na enerhiya na tinatawag na magnitude. Mararamdaman ang pinakamalakas na pagyanig sa epicenter na nasa ibabaw na bahagi lamang ng focus. Malalaman naman natin ang intensity ng lindol base sa tindi ng pinsala na dulot nito. Base sa inyong mga napanood, sagutan natin ang mga guide questions. Guide question number 1. When an earthquake occurs, where would shaking be greater? Near the epicenter or away the epicenter? What is your answer? Near the epicenter? Very good! Where would damage be more? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter? Ano ang iyong sagot? Near the epicenter? Mahusay! Last question. Based on your answers to question 1 and 2, where would the intensity be higher? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter? Tandaan na ang epicenter ay nasa ibabaw na bahagi lamang ng focus kung saan nagsisimula ang earthquake. Ano ang inyong sagot? Near the epicenter? Magaling! How can you determine the magnitude or the intensity of an earthquake? Halika, alamin natin. Wala pang instrumento na maaaring makaalam ng pagdating ng isang lindol. Ngunit, may mga instrumento tayong ginagamit na maaaring sumukat kung gaano kalakas ito. Ang instrumentong ito ay tinatawag na seismograph. Nasusukat nito ang seismic waves ng lindol kagaya ng napapanood nyo sa video clip. So remember, seismograph is an instrument used to detect and record earthquakes. Richter magnitude scale. Calculated using the logarithm of the amplitude of waves through the recordings of the seismograph. Uses Hindu-Arabic numerals like 3, 4, and 5. Ginagamit ang Richter's magnitude scale upang mailarawan kung gaano kalakas ang lindol. Kung inyong mapapansin, may mga number na nagmumula sa number 3 hanggang sa number 8. Kapag nagtala ang seismograph ng magnitude number 3, minor earthquake ang tawag dito. Magnitude 4, light earthquake. Magnitude 5, moderate. Magnitude 6, strong. Magnitude 7, major. At ang pinakamataas ay magnitude 8, great. Ang magnitude 2.5 naman pababa ay ang paglindol na hindi madalas nararamdaman. Once again, let's define what is magnitude. Magnitude is the energy released by an earthquake at the focus. It is calculated from earthquakes recorded by an instrument called seismograph. On the other hand, Intensity, it is the strength of an earthquake perceived and felt by people in a certain locality. Intensity is generally higher near the epicenter. So now, let's talk about intensity. Kung ang magnitude ay maisasalarawan gamit ang Richter's magnitude scale, PIS o PBOX Earthquake Intensity Scale naman ang gamit sa intensity. PBOX Earthquake Intensity Scale or PEIS. It has 10 levels of severity, used since 1996 to describe how the earthquake is felt in different parts of the country, expressed using Roman numerals. Kung inyong mapapansin, may 10 levels ng severity ang PEIS. 1. Scarcely perceptible. 2. Slightly felt. 3. Weak. 4. Moderately strong. 5. Strong. 6. Very strong. 7. Destructive. 8. Very destructive. 9. Devastating. And 10. Completely devastating. Your copy of PEIS can be found on page 12 of your module. Let's see what happened during an earthquake on each level of intensity. To determine the intensity, the monitoring team of PBOX observed the effects of the earthquake in different places. Houses, buildings, and other structures are inspected. People are interviewed what they saw, how they felt, or what they did during an earthquake. Let's get started. Answer learning task number 1, found on page 13 to 15 of your science module. For your learning task number 1, read the article found on page 14 of your module about the earthquake that happened in Luzon last 1990. Answer the questions briefly. Write your answers in your answer sheet. Here are the guide questions. Number 1. Where is the epicenter of the earthquake? Base sa inyong binasa, nasaan daw ang epicenter ng lindol? Number 2. How many individuals are affected by the earthquakes? 3. Discuss how devastating a 7.7 magnitude earthquake is. Malakas ba ang lindol na ito? Ipaliwanag. Napag-aralan na natin kung ano ang epicenter at ang focus ng lindol. So sa number 4, when an earthquake occurs, where would shaking be greater? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter? Number 5, where would damage be more? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter? For the last number, where would the intensity be higher? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter? Another activity, still on page 15 of your science module. Let me give you an idea on what to do. Learning task number 2, matching type. Match the Richter magnitude in column A with the earthquake effect found in column B. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Column A, 1 magnitude 7, number 2 magnitude 5, 3 magnitude 2, 4 magnitude 4, 5 magnitude 8 up, 6 magnitude 6, and number 7 magnitude 3. Column B, A, lead to a lot of damage. B, widespread destruction. C, felt little by people. D, felt by most people. E, cause severe damage. F, may not be felt. G, furniture moves. Where do earthquakes occur? Napag-aralan na natin na ang fault ay ang bitak na nasa pagitan ng tectonic plates. Alam mo ba na mauuri din ang fault sa dalawa? May tinatawag tayong active fault at inactive fault. May fault line ba na matatagpuan sa Pilipinas? Sa page 16 ng iyong module, tingnan at alamin ang mga fault line na matatagpuan sa ating bansa. There are 5 active fault lines in the country, namely Western Philippine Fault, Eastern Philippine Fault, South Mindanao Fault, Central Philippine Fault, and the Marikina Valley Fault System. Fault classifications. Active fault. Fault that has displayed recent seismic activity. Inactive fault. Fault hasn't displayed recent seismic activity. Sa madaling salita, kung nagkakaroon pa ng paglindol sa isang fault, active fault ang tawag dito. Inactive fault naman kung matagal nang walang paglindol na nangyayari dito. Did you know that? An active fault could have earthquakes as often as once every few years or once every 1,000 years. While it is very hard to call a fault inactive if we don't know its quake history, and for some faults, geologists will wait 10,000 years in between quakes to call them inactive. Ano malalaman kung ang fault ay active or inactive? Do you live near an active fault? Let's visit the Phyvox Fault Finder. Just watch the video and try to use it to check if there is an active fault near in your area. For your learning task number 3, directions. Read each question carefully. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers in your answer sheet. What point along the fault where movements first occur? A. Epicenter, B. Focus, C. Intensity, or D. Magnitude. What point on the Earth's surface is directly above the focus? A. Epicenter, B. Fault, C. Intensity, or D. Magnitude. Which agency of the government in the Philippines is monitoring the movement of the Earth crust? A. DENR, B. DOST, C. Pag-asa, or D. PHIVOLCS. It is a sudden movement of the Earth's crust caused by the release of stress accumulated along geologic faults or by volcanic activity. A. Earthquake, B. Flood, C. Typhoon, D. Tsunami. What does the illustration shows? A. Epicenter, B. Fault, C. Focus, D. Magnitude. Good job! What have you learned? For your learning task number 4, list down 5 things to do before, during, and after an earthquake. Do this in your answer sheet. Want some ideas? What you've got? Let me give you a post test. Don't forget, focus is the origin or center of the earthquake, while epicenter is the point on the surface of the earth directly above the focus. Magnitude is the energy released by an earthquake, while intensity is the strength perceived and felt by people. Active fault has displayed